When we talk about leadership in relationships, the very first thing that often goes unnoticed is emotional leadership. Women may not always say it openly, but what they deeply long for is a man who can hold space for their emotions without judgment, without rushing to fix, and without shutting down. Emotional leadership is not about controlling someone else's feelings, but about providing stability in times of uncertainty. When a woman feels safe to express her full range of emotions, her joys, her fears, her doubts, even her storms, without fearing rejection or ridicule, she experiences a level of trust and connection that words cannot describe. A man who leads emotionally understands that emotions are not weaknesses to be solved, but signals to be honored. He doesn't lose himself when she becomes vulnerable, upset, or overwhelmed. Instead, he remains steady. Think about how powerful it is for a woman to know that no matter how chaotic her emotions may feel inside, the man standing beside her won't collapse under that weight. This doesn't mean being cold or distant. It means embodying strength with compassion. It means being able to listen deeply, to acknowledge her feelings as real and valid, and to offer the kind of grounded presence that says, I'm here and we will get through this together. Women secretly admire men who can carry emotional steadiness because it creates an unspoken sense of safety. Safety for her is not just physical, it is deeply emotional. If she can trust that her heart is protected in your presence, she will open more fully to love, respect, and intimacy. Emotional leadership is about being her anchor when the waves of life feel heavy. It's about showing that even when emotions rise and fall, your commitment, your steadiness, and your presence remain the same. Too often, men are taught to shut down emotions, both their own and others. But in relationships, shutting down is not leadership, it is avoidance. True strength lies in the courage to be present even when things get uncomfortable. Emotional leadership doesn't require a man to have all the answers, but it does require him to be fully present, to listen without defensiveness, and to respond with empathy rather than react with anger or withdrawal. When a woman feels this kind of emotional stability, she doesn't just feel heard, she feels cherished. And here's the truth: when a man can consistently hold emotional space, he doesn't just lead his partner, he inspires her to trust more deeply, to love more fully, and to rise alongside him. Emotional leadership is the foundation that makes all other forms of leadership possible, because without trust in the heart, nothing else can stand strong. That's why emotional leadership is the very first and perhaps most important way women secretly want men to lead. One of the most powerful ways women secretly want men to lead is through vision and direction. Leadership in relationships isn't about control, it's about clarity. A woman feels most secure and inspired when she knows that the man beside her is not drifting aimlessly, but has a sense of where he is going in life. This does not mean he needs to have every step figured out or every answer ready, but it does mean he carries within him a sense of purpose, a compass that guides his actions, and a willingness to take responsibility for the path ahead. When a man shows that he has a vision for his life and a direction for where he wants the relationship to grow, it gives her something priceless: certainty in a world that is often full of uncertainty. Women are naturally intuitive and nurturing, but what they long for is someone who can bring structure and focus to their shared journey. A man with vision says, I see us building something meaningful together. He doesn't wait for life to just happen. He takes initiative, makes thoughtful decisions, and brings clarity where there might otherwise be confusion. This is deeply attractive because it relieves her of the weight of always having to steer the ship. Of course, she wants to contribute, to collaborate, and to share her perspective, but she secretly craves a man who can confidently step forward and set the tone. The truth is, indecision kills attraction. When a man hesitates endlessly, when he avoids choices or constantly defers decisions back to her, she may feel unsupported or even resentful. On the other hand, when he makes decisions with confidence, whether it's planning a date, making a financial choice, or charting a path for the future, it communicates strength. The beauty of true leadership is that it doesn't dismiss her input, but values it deeply. A strong man invites her voice into the process, but still takes ownership of moving forward. That balance of confidence and collaboration is what makes vision so powerful. Having direction also means that he leads by being intentional with his time and energy. Instead of drifting into distractions or short-term pleasures, he focuses on long-term growth, both personally and in the relationship. This level of intentionality shows her that he is serious, committed, and grounded. It creates a sense of stability and inspires her trust. She feels drawn to his certainty, not because he dominates her, but because he reassures her that their future is in capable hands. And so, vision and direction are not about rigid control, but about creating clarity, about showing her through actions and presence that he knows where he is going and wants her by his side on that journey. This quiet confidence is what makes her feel safe, cherished, and ready to walk with him wherever life takes them. Confidence and decisiveness are two qualities that women deeply admire in men because they create an atmosphere of safety and trust. When a man can step into situations with clarity and make choices without hesitation, he communicates that he is grounded in himself. This doesn't mean he has to be perfect or always right, but it does mean he is willing to take responsibility for his decisions and stand by them. That kind of assurance is magnetic because it relieves her of the burden of uncertainty. Women feel most secure when they know the man beside them is strong enough to lead with confidence, yet humble enough to value their perspective. Think about how many moments in life call for decision making, choosing where to go, how to respond in conflict, or what direction to take in the future. Indecision leaves space for doubt, and doubt slowly chips away at attraction. A woman doesn't want to carry the weight of always having to lead or always having to decide. When a man hesitates, second guesses himself, or avoids taking responsibility, it creates frustration and makes her feel unsupported. But when he acts with conviction, even in small things, he communicates that he can be trusted. Decisiveness signals strength, and strength is one of the most grounding energies a woman can experience in a relationship. Confidence does not mean arrogance. True confidence comes from self-awareness and inner alignment, not ego. It's the quiet assurance that says, I know who I am, I know where I stand, and I am willing to take the lead. This kind of confidence is attractive because it shows stability. It tells her that he is dependable, that he will not collapse under pressure, and that she can relax into his leadership. And when a woman feels she can relax, when she feels she does not need to carry everything herself, she can step more fully into her feminine energy, which creates harmony between them. Decisiveness also creates momentum in a relationship. Instead of staying stuck in endless back and forth, a decisive man moves things forward. He plans the date, he makes the call, he takes the first step. These actions may seem small, but they carry a powerful message. You can count on me to take action. That is deeply reassuring because it shows initiative, which is one of the most respected forms of leadership. A man who waits passively for everything to fall into place doesn't inspire, but a man who acts decisively creates trust and admiration. At the heart of this, women don't secretly wish for men to control everything. They wish for men to lead with confidence so they can feel safe enough to surrender to the relationship. Confidence and decisiveness are not about overpowering. They are about providing stability. And when a man embodies these qualities, he naturally earns her respect, her trust, and her desire to walk alongside him. Women don't just listen to what a man says. They watch how he lives. One of the most powerful ways men can lead in a relationship is by leading through example. Words can inspire for a moment, but consistent actions inspire for a lifetime. When a man shows discipline in his daily life, when he carries himself with integrity, when he honors his commitments and stays consistent with his values, it speaks louder than any promise he could ever make. Women secretly long for men who live in alignment because it gives them someone they can truly admire and respect. Leading by example doesn't mean being perfect. It doesn't mean never making mistakes. What it does mean is showing consistency in the way you live, so that your words and actions align. Integrity is one of the most magnetic qualities a man can possess. If you say you'll do something, follow through. If you promise to show up, then show up. Over time, this builds a deep foundation of trust. Women feel safe with men who lead themselves first because they know that kind of man can also lead a partnership with strength and reliability. Discipline is another quality that silently communicates leadership. When a man takes care of his health, works on his goals, and honors his responsibilities, it shows that he has control over himself. And a man who can lead himself through discipline naturally earns the respect to lead others. Women secretly crave this not because they want a man who dominates, but because they want a man who demonstrates stability and self-respect. A disciplined man doesn't need to say he's reliable. His actions show it every day. Consistency ties it all together. Anyone can show up once. Anyone can make an effort for a week. But real leadership is proven through consistency over time. When a man consistently shows kindness, consistently provides support, consistently pushes himself to grow, it creates a relationship environment where she feels safe to trust, safe to open up, and safe to follow his lead. This kind of steadiness is rare, and that is why it is so deeply desired. The truth is, women don't want empty promises. They want to see who you are when no one is watching. They want to see whether you live the values you talk about, whether your life reflects the discipline, honesty, and strength you claim. Leading by example builds respect at a level that words can never reach. And when respect is present, love flourishes effortlessly. So the real secret is this: leadership in relationships doesn't start with her. It starts with you. Lead yourself with integrity, discipline, and consistency, and she will naturally trust and follow your lead, not because you asked her to, but because your life itself inspires her to. True leadership in relationships is never about dominance or control. It is about partnership. Women secretly want men who can lead from a place of balance, strength combined with compassion. A man who only shows strength without empathy may appear intimidating, but he will not create trust. On the other hand, a man who only shows compassion without strength may be kind, but he will not inspire confidence. What women deeply desire is a man who can embody both, someone who can stand firm in who he is, while also understanding and caring for her heart. When a man demonstrates strength, it doesn't have to mean aggression or force. Real strength is calm, grounded, and steady. It is the ability to remain composed when challenges arise. It is the willingness to protect without being controlling, to take responsibility without blaming, to provide stability without suffocating. Strength is the quiet energy that reassures her that no matter what storms come, he is capable of weathering them. This makes her feel safe, not because he demands it, but because he embodies it. Compassion adds another layer to leadership. Compassion means listening without dismissing her, understanding without judging, and offering kindness even when disagreements arise. It is the ability to see her not just as a partner, but as a human being with emotions, struggles, and dreams of her own. Compassionate leadership means recognizing that love is not about power, but about presence. It means being strong enough to hold space for her feelings while never diminishing your own. When strength and compassion work together, a beautiful harmony emerges. She feels safe, yet also seen. She feels protected, yet also valued as an equal. Women don't want men who overpower them. They want men who inspire trust by guiding from a place of respect. Leadership, in this sense, becomes a shared journey where both partners rise together. A man who leads with this balance creates a relationship where she can relax into her feminine energy, knowing that her partner is not only capable of protecting her, but also willing to nurture her. This balance is rare, and that is why it is so deeply craved. Too often, relationships fall into extremes where men try to dominate and lose compassion, or where they give up strength and lose respect. But the true secret is in mastering both. A man who can lead with firmness and gentleness, with courage and empathy, with strength and compassion, becomes the kind of leader that women not only respect but admire. And that is why women secretly want men to lead with this balance, because it creates love that feels safe, deep, and unshakable. At the very core of leadership in relationships lies something deeper than strength, vision, or decisiveness. It is love, presence, and authenticity. Women secretly want men who can lead not by wearing a mask or pretending to be someone they are not, but by showing up fully as themselves. Authentic leadership is magnetic because it carries truth. A man who is genuine doesn't need to force respect, he naturally earns it. His presence is felt not because he shouts the loudest, but because he stands in quiet confidence, rooted in who he truly is. Presence is one of the most powerful gifts a man can bring to a relationship. In a world filled with distractions, when a man gives his full attention to his partner, she feels cherished. Presence is more than being physically near, it's about being mentally and emotionally engaged. When he listens without his mind wandering, when he looks her in the eyes with full focus, when he shows that in this moment nothing is more important than her, she feels the kind of love that words alone could never give. This is leadership of the heart, and it is the kind that makes her feel valued on the deepest level. Authenticity strengthens this presence. Many men feel pressured to play roles, to appear tougher, richer, or more impressive than they truly are. But what women crave is not the performance, it is the realness. She wants to see the man behind the mask, the one who is confident enough to own both his strengths and his imperfections. Authenticity builds trust because it communicates. What you see is what you get. There is no guessing, no games, no hidden agendas. And when she feels that honesty, she can relax into the relationship, knowing that her heart is in safe hands. Love ties it all together. Leadership without love becomes cold. Leadership without presence becomes shallow. Leadership without authenticity becomes empty. But when a man leads with love, he creates an energy of safety and connection that allows the relationship to flourish. Love here is not just affection. It is commitment, care, and consistency. It is choosing her every day, not just when it's easy. It is showing her through actions that she matters, that she is seen, and that she is worthy of devotion. At the deepest level, women don't just want men who lead with authority, they want men who lead with their hearts. They want men who can guide with wisdom, but also soften with love. They want presence that makes them feel seen and authenticity that makes them feel secure. Because when a man embodies love, presence, and authenticity, he doesn't just lead her, he inspires her to rise with him. That is why the truest form of leadership women secretly long for is the kind that comes from the heart.